Hey, this is Anney
and Samantha.
And welcome to Stuff I Never Told You, a production of iHeartRadio. And welcome to another edition of Happy Hour. As always, if you are choosing to drink, whatever you're choosing to do, please do so responsibly. Samantha, what are you doing?
I'm drinking all my bubble water.
That's, yeah, uh-huh.
You know, my staple. What about you?
Yeah. I'm drinking, I don't know if people remember this, but I had a real throat issue when we recorded our audiobook. And ever since then, I've been drinking like warm water and lemon and ginger a lot. That's what I'm drinking. Today is Mardi Gras. So I have friends coming over and there'll be plenty of drinks later to be had. So save up for that. Yeah, I almost did. This happy hour was almost my investigation into some of the more sexualized trends of things like Mardi Gras and St. Patrick's Day. But I feel like I actually have to research that, and that's not what happy hour is about. So that's not what we're doing today. I actually wanted to talk about kind of when you go back to a place you used to frequent a lot, like when you have these memories that come back because you can see the time of your life you were in when you were in this place. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because last weekend, as you know, Samantha, I had a bunch of friends that I've known since elementary school, middle school, come over, and we went to Piedmont Park, which is this big popular park in Atlanta. And I used to run every day in Piedmont Park. And I stopped during the pandemic, and also my knees are bad. So I've tried to pick it up a couple times since the pandemic, and it does make me sad, but my knees are not good anymore. I went to years of physical therapy, and it hasn't worked out for me. I'm going to admit, if I'm being honest with myself, I haven't been completely consistent with it. I was for a long time, though, and it still didn't seem to be working, but definitely not now. Definitely not now. But it was just strange because I remembered how big a part of my life that was. And I felt like I could almost see myself like running by. Every day I would do this. And it's completely changed. I was telling Samantha before this, it's got like all these new pathways, and it's got like a little swamp area. It's got a new dog park. And it just brought back all of these memories and made me kind of sad of like, you know, I would have really loved to run this at the time when I was running. That would have been really nice. But it was also kind of a closure almost. It was like, yeah, but you don't do that anymore. That's not who you are anymore. You had your time. You had your time running. And you didn't take care of yourself like everyone told you you should. But it was really lovely, despite all of the memories resurfacing, because I was with my friends and it was a nice day. It was the first day of March, and we were helping a friend with her business, and we were taking all these pictures of her, the things she's made, and it was really nice, but it just felt strange. It felt like this used to be such a big part of my life. And now I was like, oh God, I don't recognize this anymore. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Like, I feel like that's just the ever-growing places. Every time I go somewhere that I used to go to all the time, and then there's a new building, I'm like, what? What is this? Like, here in Atlanta, we have a place called East Atlanta Village. And I guess even before I moved there, it was kind of like the hip.
Yeah.
I know it sounds dumb, but like a place to be, but with like the grungier venues. There's a place called the Earl, who has been threatened to be shut down every 5 years,
Yeah.
but like has a legacy when it comes to the shows that they would have, the food that they would have, the dive bar etiquette, but like the good okra. Like it was really interesting
Yeah.
space. But then all of a sudden, all these restaurants popped up that's like 3 or 4 star restaurants with all these accolades. And we're like, what is this? And as gentrification happened, it really overtook that area to the point that there was like these condos right next to one of the largest, like one of the oldest grubby bar, divey food places that we used to love. And
Yeah.
like, you can't even get to that without actually walking into someone's driveway weirdly. Like the way they have it set up is so interesting. But when I
Yeah.
see areas like that where I used to visit and being like, what has happened here? And you don't see it. Like Atlanta has a place called West Midtown, which was not the name. And now, and everybody's making it happen. And people who lived there forever, people who lived there before gentrification and have been ousted are angry about this because they're like, this is not what that is. Stop trying to make this happen. Like, very angry. But with like running, I do that too because I'm like, I used to run here. I like the fact that I don't do Peachtree road races anymore, which is pretty big here in Atlanta and the Southeast in general. Like 75,000 participants at one point, like all these things, and like getting into it was a lottery. And every time I've ever entered, I've been able to get in. But because I'm the same way, my knees are not okay to the point that the amount of like stretchy, funky sounds and popping sounds that come from it, I'm like, I'm a little concerned about what's happening right now. But like we were talking about Cardiac Hill. And I was trying to explain that to my parents, even though it's still very much in existence. Like, but having the memory, I'm trying to remember when I used to do that and how much I hated it, but loved conquering it. But like all of these moments of like it just kind of going away. And I haven't participated in the Peachtree Road Race since the last time you and I did it.
Yes. And we were miserable.
Your time. I beat your time for the first time ever because you were like, I'm done. Rightly so. Rightly so. And I hadn't like trained, but like it's weird getting older and then looking back at an area that you've lived in and for so long. Aging is an interesting concept because I've been thinking about like how I used to see things, going out, doing these things, doing these activities, and I don't know what's going on anymore because I don't do activities.
Yes. That brings me to another point I wanted to bring up, which I mentioned to you. There is a popular spot in Piedmont Park called Park Tavern. And we were walking back my apartment. I'm very lucky. I can walk to Piedmont Park. I used to walk to our office. That was nice. But we don't have, our office isn't there anymore. But I used to go to this place a lot when I was younger. It does a lot of like it would have an ice skating rink during the holidays. It has a lot of stuff like that. We had an office party there once. It was disastrous, but that's besides the point. That was not Park Tavern's fault. That's where I accidentally called my boyfriend my friend, and we had a big fight about it later. Anyway, it was so different, and it was so loud, and it was so packed. And I just remember thinking, like, this has changed so much since I have been here, since like my days of coming here and doing this. And I don't know, I just felt, and then I was trying to look at, like, we could maybe go to some other bars that are nearby, but all the other bars I was thinking about were closed. They don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So,
well, when you were telling me about what was happening there, like surprised you. It surprised me because like Park Tavern is known for jazz. It used to do like near live music and had some weird. Still surprises me that they serve sushi.
Yeah, they do.
It still throws me off. I'm like, wait, what? So all of that to say, like, there's definitely a growth because you were saying it was like very sports bar-ish, like
yes,
March Madness.
AstroTurf.
And yes. I was like, what? Because I don't remember. It's been years since I've been there. Don't get me wrong. It used to be a great place for brunch. You would go to an activity at the Piedmont Park and then go to Park Tavern to have a drink. Like just those different things. So I do remember people being there for like kickball, but we don't consider kickball to be that level of like a sports bar, right?
No,
Okay.
I don't
All right.
think so.
So tell me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I just found that very interesting, that what you were saying, because I feel like it's a pretty big change.
It felt like a very big change to me. Like the AstroTurf alone, I feel like it used to be like more wood panels and I don't know, but it was loud and packed and I just felt so out of place because I went in thinking it was going to be this one thing and it was not that thing. Also, we had this experience recently. We got to hang out in person with Christina, super producer Christina. They have the system too where you walk up to the bar now and to order food there instead of having a waiter come to you. And that line was huge. So
that's odd.
Yeah, it was just interesting. I don't know. This might have been, they do a lot of events there. I was worried it might be Oyster Fest, to be honest, but it wasn't. But so I don't know. Maybe this was a special. It was, I think, the first day of March Madness. I don't know much about March Madness.
I mean, it was March, so.
It's possible. But I mean, maybe they're not like that normally, but it's a lot to put down AstroTurf in a bar. Anyway, I don't know. I was just like experiencing these kind of strange like memories encroaching on me like ghost. Like you used to do this all the time. Do you remember that? And it's like, oh God, I did. And it feels like a different person. It feels like a different life.
It really does. When I think about running as well, like when I mentioned to people that I used to do half marathons, I used to do two a year at least for like 5 years. That seems ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like that conversation, I see pictures of me doing little like races here and there. And I was like, what? Is that me? But it's interesting because, and also living in an area and watching the changes, wishing for things. I just saw the post, someone talking about their favorite hangout spot in college is gone. Like hearing about all the places that are closed down. I mean, in Atlanta, once again, that West Midtown, I'm putting that in quotes here, a big chunk of restaurants are gone. Even one of the biggest staples, which is called West Egg, that had been there for decades. And now it's completely gone. They're closed down.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of it happened during the pandemic, but a lot of it, you know, it is gentrification or it's expensive to have a restaurant. But I feel bad. Like, I feel bad both because that's happening, but also I have my infamous Atlanta map. And when people visit Atlanta, I send it to them. And I'm like, I don't know what all of this is open anymore. I have no idea.
Right.
It was good at one time if it's not open.
It was good. Oh man, memories.
Yeah. Yeah. It was both nice and I am and like a little bittersweet, I guess. But I'm glad we did it. We had a good time. We went out for a walk. Yeah.
That's nice.
We were in the sun. The weather was lovely. We didn't get any food at Park Tavern, but we did get a drink.
No sushi?
So. We were so confused about the ordering process. And I can't stress this enough, Samantha. It was so loud.
Yeah.
Like the din of everyone talking.
Huh.
Oh my gosh.
Huh.
It was one of those moments where you sit down and you're like, do we bail now?
Oh, yeah.
Or
we made a mistake. What do we do?
Or do we stick it out just for one drink?
Silently go and hope no one sees you.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, now I know. But yes, listeners, if you have any thoughts about this, please let us know. If you've lost any favorite spot, please let us know. You can email us at hello@stuffmomnevertoldyou.com. You can find us on Blue Sky at Mom Stuff Podcast or on Instagram and TikTok at Stuff Mom Never Told You. We're also on YouTube. We have a TeePublic store and we have a book you can get wherever you get your books. Thanks as always to our super producer Christina, our executive producer Maya, and our contributor Joey.
Thank you.
Thanks to you for listening. Stuff Mom Never Told You is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, you can check out the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.